love, love, Lord, till I hear the breath of the Spirit flowing in me.
Hello and welcome to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich. Our guest today is Fr Eugene Ashkar, and we'll be discussing Our Lady Queen of Peace's message from March the 18th, 2020. Our Lady's been appearing in Medjugorje, a little village in Bosnia-Herzegovina, since June the 24th, 1981, and still is today to give messages to everyone. Welcome to the program, Father.
Thank you very much.
I'll start by reading the message and then we'll chat about it. Our Lady said, "Dear children, my son, as God, always looked above time. I, as his mother, through him, see in time. I see beautiful and sad things, but I see that there is still love, and that it needs doing for it to be known. My children, you cannot be happy if you do not love each other. If you do not have love in every situation and at every moment of your life. If you also I as a mother am coming to you through love to help you to come to know true love, to come to know my son. This is why I am calling you, always anew, to thirst all the more for love, faith and hope, the only spring from which you can drink is trust in God. My son, my children, in moments of peacelessness and renunciation, you just seek the face of my son. You just live his words and do not be afraid. Pray and love with sincere feelings, with good works, and help so that the world may change and that my heart may win. Like my son, I am also saying to you, love each other, because without love, there is no salvation. Thank you, my children." So I'll start with the first sentence. Our Lady said, "Dear children, my son, as God always looked above time, I as his mother through him see in time. I see beautiful and sad things."
Yeah, I think when we look at, if we look at the simple way of looking at how God looks at things, all right, if you look straight at the point of a pen, okay, you see the whole pen in one view. Right? And that's like God. God sees the past, the present, the future, everything in that one view. It's like a total overview of all of creation to the end.
Yeah.
But we're in time, so we look at it sideways.
Yeah.
Right? So we look at the beginning and we look at the passage of time through the ages.
Yeah.
Right? And so we can look at these things, we can look at our lives and we can say, oh, that was a wonderful time, or that was terrible. You know, that was, and this is like Our Lady saying, you know, that I see beautiful and I see sad things.
Yeah.
And they can be similar at the same time. We can see something beautiful in our relationship with God, but it's sad that we have to suffer in that relationship. So we go through acts of penance and we go through our difficulties and things like that. But all of it is beautiful for God. You know, Malcolm Muggeridge, when he wrote the book about Mother Teresa of Calcutta, you know, he called it something beautiful for God. Right? went through such deprivation, went through all these difficulties. But even he, who at the time had no religion at all, right, could see this is indeed something beautiful. There's so much suffering around. There's so much, but this is truly beautiful. And I think that's how a lady looks at it. That it looks at it. She can see in the passage of time, yes, we go through all this rocky road, but it's something beautiful for God. This is what is working towards our holiness.
Yeah.
All right? Whatever the difficulties we may be undergoing, this works towards our holiness. And I think this is why, like with this particular message that we're dealing with here, this is a once-a-year message.
Yeah.
All right? Once a year, Our Lady appears to this seer and gives her this message. All right? Not necessarily this exact message every year, but once a year appears to this seer, to this thing here, because it's so important that we are reminded that in our pursuit of prayer and penance and fasting and all these other things there, yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's sad for us that we have to go through this because our relationship is supposed to be one of love and joy with God. But just remember, it is beautiful what you are doing.
Yeah, it's beautifully said. Our Lady said, but I see there is still love and that it needs doing for it to be known. So she's seeing people are still doing acts of love, or the people are still loving, but she needs to, I guess she needs to see more acts of love because it still needs doing. Like she sees there's love in people's hearts, but it needs to be expressed, it sounds like what she's saying.
Yeah, this outward expression needs to be seen.
Yeah.
So we have well, when I was a child, we used to have the Corpus Christi procession, right, where the people from all over came and joined in this procession, parish by parish. It converted people. They were standing there watching this because of this outward manifestation, bringing into action the exercising of our faith.
Yeah.
And this happens in so many things in our lives.
That's beautiful. And we have to go to a break now, Father.
Wonderful.
You're watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us. We'll be back with more very shortly. Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich. If you've just joined us, we're here with Fr Eugene Ashkar. Welcome back to the program, Father.
Thank you very much.
And we're discussing Our Lady Queen of Peace's message from March the 18th, 2020 from Medjugorje given to Mirella. So I'll continue. Our Lady said in that message, halfway through or quarter of the way through, my children, you cannot be happy if you do not love each other. If you do not have love in every situation and at every moment of your life. That's a really good point, I think, because the minute you're out of love or you're fighting or you're upset about something, you don't feel that happiness.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you lack love, what do you have? You have selfishness.
Yeah.
All right? And selfishness is never happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm always looking after number one.
Yeah.
And if it's not exactly the way that my imagination is, how I should be, how I should be looked after, however, it's just, it's
downward
such a
spiral.
It is a downward spiral. And we say, if kids get everything they want and everything else of that, and you just keep feeding their selfishness, you end up with very spoiled, unhappy children.
Yeah.
But when you love and you're looking out for the well-being of the other person, you're constantly striving to do it. And every little victory in that area gives you more joy.
Yeah.
Just increases your happiness.
Yeah.
Because, yes, I got that, this is why, like, if I come to things at birthdays, all right, a little kid wants certain presents. Right? But you want to see a kid really excited when they're giving a present to their parents, right? There's nothing in it there for them. It's for mum or for dad.
Yeah,
all right.
excited about
And
it,
how excited are they? You know,
Yeah.
like yeah.
Yeah.
And and the parents go, oh, that's wonderful. They're so excited. You know, their love is. There's nothing in it for them in this
Yeah.
thing. It's all for this, and that's where their
pure.
joy is.
Yeah, praise God. Yeah, that's probably why. That's why Jesus said, didn't he? Look at the little children to see how to be.
Yeah.
Not they're not his exact words, but what learn from the little ones.
Unless you're
Yeah.
like a little child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't enter the kingdom of heaven or something.
That's
isn't
right.
It? Yeah.
And the kingdom of heaven is eternal joy and
Yeah.
peace.
Yeah.
So
God bless all
is
the children.
Very
Protect
true.
them.
You
Yeah.
cannot be happy if you do not love each other.
Yeah.
And if you do it all the time, you'll always be happy.
Yeah.
No matter what you have to go through.
Yeah. Try and put yourself on autopilot of love.
Yes. That's a good expression. Autopilot of love.
Our Lady said, also I as a mother am coming to you through love to help you to come to know true love, to come to know my Son. This is why I am calling you always anew to thirst all the more for love, faith and hope. And you know that you can hear it in her messages. It's such a gift when we get Our Lady's messages. That there's such a beautiful guide for us. I mean, I just love them.
Yeah, if you sit there and you look at all these different messages, you go, look, she knows something, doesn't she?
Yeah.
You know, what is it that she's trying to convey to us? We can't convey something that really excites us as well as letting the other people see it too.
Yeah.
You know, we have this. How can I put it? There was a man who got a pair of these colour blindness glasses, and he always wanted to know what it was to watch a sunset or a sunrise. And so he did. He got up and he watched the sunrise, and he just cried. He said, "You never told me. You never were able to express to me just how spectacular this is." And this is like Our Lady. You know, she's gone through this. She's gone to heaven. She's there. She knows her Son. And she's trying to say, you want to see a sunset? You know, follow my Son. This is the one. He's going to give you colours that you've never seen, an experience that you've never had, joy, peace, comfort. You know, I can't describe it to you. Follow this and you will experience it yourself.
Oh, praise God. That's beautiful. Yes. Our Lady said, this is why I'm calling you to... the only spring from which you can drink is trust in God, my Son. My children, in moments of peacelessness and renunciation, you just seek the face of my Son. So again, just for us to just focus on Jesus, focus on living like Jesus. Like if we can try and be as we would imagine Jesus to be in this moment, you know, he would just be pure peace and pure love. If we can be that for each other, in everyone in the world, we'll make miracles happen all around the world if we can all do that together.
Yeah, it's this gives us a confidence in him. We rely on, if we rely on him, we have a confidence that things, you know, I can't, you can, so that this is yours. And if we have that confidence to give it to him, then he will do extraordinary things with us, through us, and in us.
Let go and let God is another way they say it as well, isn't it? And then Our Lady said, you just live his words and do not be afraid. Pray and love with sincere feelings, with good works, and help, so that the world may change and that my heart may win. So don't be afraid. I think that's important, that no one's afraid. I remember once people were scared and they were saying, what are the secrets? Because Our Lady has given secrets to the visionaries. And they said, what are the secrets? They want to know. And she said, don't worry about the secrets. Just live Our Lady's messages. Live now. Live in the, basically live now. Live her messages and don't worry about anything.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these messages that come approved by the church and these other things like that have a great deal to do. Everyone's looking at the negative side, but the positive side is the lady says, if you do this, the negative just won't occur.
Yeah.
All right? This is why I'm calling you to prayer and conversion and fasting, so that you don't face these difficulties.
Yeah, just be faithful to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, we have to go to a break now. You're watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us. We'll be back with more very shortly.
Lord, till I hear but breath of the Spirit flowing in me. Lord, till I hear but breath of the Spirit flowing in me.
Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich, and if you've just joined us, we're here with Fr Eugene Ashkar, and we're discussing Our Lady Queen of Peace's message from Medjugorje on the 18th of March 2020. Welcome back to the program, Father.
Thank you very much.
So we'll sort of kind of recap a little bit what we've done already, but we'll go into it a bit more detail. Our Lady said at the end of the message, towards the end, "My children, in moments of peacelessness and renunciation, you just seek the face of my Son. You just live his words and do not be afraid." I just think they're really strong words, like peacelessness. Seek the face of Jesus, you know. Don't be afraid, live his words.
Yeah, it is. It's we face a lot of things that attack our peace, and renunciation. You know, like the world's renouncing the Lord. No, I shouldn't say the world, but the society in many ways is renouncing the Lord. You know, and it's and we're feeling, you know, of oppressed in that so many things are being raised to attack Christianity and followers of Christ, and you're not allowed to do this in the schools now, and you can't do that, and they can't pray here, and we can't do these sorts of different things, and the world is trying to remove us, and we're losing peace because the values that we try to instill in society to build it up and to strengthen it. This all is very difficult. But if we look on the face of Christ, we can remember that image of Christ, like in his passion. And when he enters into hell, enters into things to claim Adam back, in the famous Holy Saturday homily, when he says, you know, because of the disfigurement of sin, I have been disfigured. Right? That I may restore you to the perfection for which I made you. Right? You reached out to a tree to commit sin. I reached out and I was nailed to a tree that you may be restored. Everything like this is, when we look to Christ, we see he has done everything for us to bring us back. There is nothing that can defeat him. So when we look on his face, right, we can say, you know, he's won the battle.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry.
Yeah,
the other thing I tell a lot of different people is that when you're doing the right thing and you're under oppression or you're under these sorts of things, tell yourself, I'm doing the right thing. This is not my problem. This is yours. Because I'm doing the right thing. I'm at peace with God.
Yeah.
All right? You're the one that has to things there. And that gives you a great strength to sort of say, well, I don't have to worry about this. I don't have to lie. I don't have to cheat. I do any of these different things. If I'm at peace with God, I know that at any moment I can face him face to face and go, good to see you. And he'll say that to me. All right? And that gives me a peace, and it gives me a strength and an acknowledgement rather than a renunciation. I don't have anything to fear. Whereas someone who's doing their own thing and renouncing God and creating distress and lack of peace, they've got something to fear.
Yeah.
So I can literally listen to his words, take them to heart, and not fear.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And then Our Lady said, you just live his words. Do not be afraid. Pray and love with sincere feelings, with good works, and help so that the world may change and that my heart may win. Like my son, I am also saying to you, love each other, because without love there is no salvation. So we don't thank you, my children, she says. You know, it's interesting, without love there's no salvation. Would you think she means like there's no heaven without love? If you don't keep loving, there's no heaven, you'll be all off to hell.
Well, how did Jesus bring salvation to us? There is no greater love than to lay down your life for another.
Yeah.
So he died upon the cross. Right? That's how he made salvation available to us. But we have to plug into it. It's like the power lines that run down the street. The salvation, that's all there, but we have to connect to it. And we have to connect to it by taking on his image, by following him, by exercising our love, our selflessness towards the others, to lay ourselves down for that. If we don't love, we don't connect to him, who is perfect love.
Yeah.
That wonderful, the salvation, that loving salvation that he laid down for us 2,000 years ago, that we may be saved. Right? If we don't love, we don't connect.
Yeah.
We don't connect to that salvation. We don't allow ourselves to be saved.
Okay, and just to give, we talked a bit off camera about this, to hit this other person who really believes in Jesus, they love Jesus, they, live the Bible and they know the Bible back to front, but the one thing they don't believe is that God would send anyone to hell. They think that God will just make them suffer. The ones that have done really bad things will make them suffer more and more on earth, horrendously, till they can be ready for heaven.
Well, I mean, it's a bit like the fly trap, isn't it? Because the thing is that we don't force the fly into the trap, okay? The fly follows what it wants to do and does its own thing and gets in, and it can't get itself back out. We didn't put it in, right? And this is the same thing. God gives us freedom, and he gives us the rules of life and the means of salvation to avoid these things. So we put ourselves into there, and then we can't get ourselves back out. And if God did that, we wouldn't have freedom. We would lose our freedom. Because then it's sort of like, you do whatever you want, but I will always overrule you and I will always pull you back out. But no, we have to learn to live with the consequences of our choice. And that is the consequence. When we die, we enter into eternity. There isn't time anymore. And time is the measurement of change. We won't change anymore. So if they're saying we're going to do this up until we're going to die, that we have to go through this to be purified, that's saying we will not have the freedom to choose to change or to stay the way we are.
Yeah, exactly. That's beautifully said anyway, beautiful. So we just have to love, love, love.
Yes.
Follow God. Thank you so much for coming on the program, Father. Would you
you
like to
very
come
much,
again
Simone.
next week?
Oh, yes, why not? Yeah.
You've been watching Spirit of Life, and our guest was Fr Eugene Ashkar, and I'm Mirella Rich. Hope you enjoyed the program, and I also hope God keeps you happy, healthy, safe, holy and peaceful now and forever. Bye.
Bring it to birth and blow where you will. Blow, blow, blow till I be but breath of the Spirit.